Hi, this is Jim Weiss at Savor Lifestyle, and tonight we're going to do some baking. It's nighttime here, perhaps morning where you are. You know, COVID is really getting very difficult, even though the vaccine is here. This is January, and I read the other day that people in New York, according to certain psychiatrists, are depressed at a tremendous rate, anxious at a tremendous rate. Something like two-thirds of the population in New York is depressed or anxious. Well, I'm not going to go into those two-thirds, and I haven't been. And one of the reasons why I'm not, and I'm in the other third, and my wife is as well, is that we're baking like crazy. And tonight what we're going to do is learn about an incredibly simple recipe that Katherine Hepburn developed in her apartment somewhere. While researching this, I found something that I wanted to share with you, and that is she had 3 rules of life. One was never quit. The second one is always be yourself. And the third one is don't put too much flour in your brownies recipe. And you're now going to see how simple this is. This is one-pot brownies. It's amazing. So we're going to start right now by putting this stove on, this gas top on, and we're going to put this butter in and melt it down with this cocoa. Now this cocoa is Ghirardelli cocoa. No, excuse me, it's Goutard cocoa, unsweetened, with a little bit of black cocoa from King Arthur flour. Just a little bit, because it's incredibly powerful. There's no sugar in this. Now this is going down in, right? So this is what we're doing. So simple. Everything is going to be done in one pot. No bowls, right? So it's very hot in there. So I'm going to take this off and stir this in. Look at how dark that is. I mean, it's that dark cocoa, and I only put, I think maybe about 1/8 of a cup of the dark cocoa from King Arthur in the mix. In fact, they recommend don't use it totally because it's too bitter and too dark. So then what you do is you put the sugar in. Well, actually, I can put the other chocolates in. I wanted to show you that I have some Valrhona chocolate. These are little pieces that come from Valrhona. And this is one of their most popular chocolates, mostly used by chefs. I just happen to have some, and I'm stirring that in now over the heat. That'll add a little bit to it. Katherine Hepburn did not have that available to her, but I do. So it's good to tweak a recipe a little bit here and there. Now, next what's going to go in is the sugar, right? So the sugar's going in. Very nice. Sugar. Also, I added the vanilla to the eggs, which are coming next, right? So here we go. It's really heating up. So let's just read this again. I want to make sure I don't mess up. Stir in the flour, the eggs and the vanilla go next. And you don't want to have it be too hot in there because you have scrambled eggs, right? So you got to keep it moving. Ah, very nice, very nice. All that fat and sugar and cocoa butter all mixing in with the eggs. And I am adding a little bit of salt. I like salt. It enhances, it opens the taste buds. And here we go. All right. And next what we're going to do is add the flour. Can you believe this? We're doing it all in one pot. Normally what these recipes do is make it through 2 bowls and mix and mash and so on. But in this case, we're just mixing that flour in. Not very much. Just 1/4 of a cup of flour. And so these are brownies you don't want to overcook, because they'll end up very dry. And these are pecans, 1 whole cup going in. There we go. So we're going to roll those around. You always want to look back and make sure you put everything into the pot that you had out and organized at the outset. So that's it. That is it. And I turn off the stove. I have a prepared 8x8 pan, and we're going to simply pour this into the 8x8 pan. I mean, really, does this take more than 2 minutes? I mean, the mise en place, setting everything out, takes more than 2 minutes. Now, here we go. We want to make sure we get every last morsel, right? So these are not going to be terribly thick. It only has 2 eggs, no baking powder, no baking soda. And just going to grab that remaining chocolate that's in there. We don't want to miss any of it. Well, I'll tell you, this baking has been great for me, and it can be great for you too. I had to sort of talk to myself that it's okay to bake every couple of days, and it's okay to eat more sweet things during COVID. And we're getting lots of exercise, so it really doesn't matter. We haven't gained a pound. In fact, we've lost weight. So here we go. 325, and I always recommend 5 minutes shorter than anyone's saying. So about 30 minutes on these. I'll check it, and we're gonna pull it out when it's still gooey. There we go. I'll be back when they're done. Well, that was quick. Let's see what we have. That smell is wonderful. I wish you could smell it with me. But let's just test it just to make sure. That was 35 minutes at 325. Turn that off. And let's just test. Perfect, you know? So I'm gonna put this up, it cools nicely on this particular gas top. I'd love to cut into it now, but we can't. We have to wait till it cools. But it reminds me of one of our daughters who always cut out a little section, like 1 by 1. She couldn't wait. She was so excited about whatever she was baking, and I think she still does that, but I don't know. She's baking with her children. I'll be back when it cools. Hi, we're back. So I always like to use parchment paper. You know, I butter underneath it and then sometimes butter the top of it. But let's take a look at this. It's cooled down nicely now. Let's cut a good sized piece. I'm cutting that out. It's still a little warm. You can see how dark that is. Isn't that amazing? And you can see that pecan in there. So let's just try a bite. Amazing. Not dry. Delicious. I wish you could have some. You can make your own. Look it up online. There's a couple there. One, Katherine Hepburn's brownie recipe. One is New York Times. They use bowls and a pan. But the one that PBS has is all in one pot. Good luck.